Hello, this is Randy Rolfe, and I'm an independent Nikken consultant, and this is our 30-minute showcase about Nikken by independent distributors of Nikken. And I'm going to start with a PowerPoint, some slides to give you an overview. Hopefully somebody's already told you a bit about Nikken, maybe you've tried some products, and we're just going to share our stories and what Nikken means to us and where we think it's going, and then we're going to have a special guest later on to share his experience with Nikken, and very excited about our program today. So let me share my PowerPoint. Nikken is a better way, we believe, to a life in balance. And it's all about people, planet, and profit. And I'm going to go over the profit part of it first, how the better way of Nikken can change your life financially. And then we'll talk more about the products. And it's really all about the Nikken choice of active wellness and collaborative entrepreneurship. We're all independent entrepreneurs, but we have this giant wellness company behind us. And it's all based on a philosophy of active wellness. So it's truly an amazing philosophy. It's about the 5 pillars of health. The founder, back in 1975, from his mom, developed this idea that true happiness and success depend on balance in these 5 areas: healthy mind, healthy body, healthy family, healthy society, and healthy finances. And I fell in love with this because I'd been a corporate lawyer, and I knew there were very few multinational corporations that were really interested in the whole person and wanted their customers and their employees to have a life of balance. And when I left the law to spend time with my family, putting my family first priority, I thought I'd given up the really healthy finances. But when I saw the partners weren't having any time with their family, they were making good 6-figure incomes, but in those days, they're probably making 7-figure now, but they didn't have time for their family, and their health was going to the dogs because they were in their office all the time, never got any sun or any vacation. And adversarial conditions weren't the best thing for the mind either in the legal world. And plus, for society, big corporations weren't doing that much for really helping people live better lives. So I was very happy to put my family first, but I was so excited when I saw that Nikken had this philosophy, and it really is true. Nikken helps you in every area and gets you free so that you can live a life of balance. And it's all about the compounding effect of the daily choices and habits. These determine our quality of life. You can, it's January 2019, and you maybe made a big resolution to lose 30 pounds or join a fitness club or be better with your expenditures or something. But it's the daily choices we make. We make dozens of choices every day, and that's what adds up to the results, to our income, our health, our relationships, our happiness, our success. You know, one date a week with your spouse isn't the same as saying nice things each morning, and so on. It's all about that compounding effect. Small choices consistently over time make the radical difference. And the biggest stress that people identify today is finances, especially since the recession. And this is a wonderful diagram of the 4 quadrants developed by Robert Kiyosaki of how we earn our money. And 95% of the country gets only 5% of the wealth. And their way of earning money is as an employee or self-employed. And in both cases, there's no leverage. You're really selling time for money. Time equals money. And employees get paid exactly what their employer thinks their job is worth, not what they're worth. And the self-employed, you may be the last one that gets paid or not at all. And your time is still equal to money. When I switched to family counseling, if I didn't sit with a client in front of me, I wasn't earning money. And the limit for my clients was how much money could they spend for an hour with a counselor. So finances was a major stress. And so how do we change that? How do we get financially free so we can make our own choices of how we spend our time and what we do? And that's how you get to the right side of this picture. And it's really about leveraging your money or your time. And if you have a franchise, like McDonald's here, you are leveraging the time and efforts of others, mostly your employees. And the problem there is that to get a traditional franchise, you already need a whole lot of money to invest. And most of us don't have $1 million or $2 million sitting around to start a business. And it's even harder as an investor. You need $2 million to earn $50,000 a year at 5%, and people aren't even getting that unless they're really good in the stock market. So, but 95% of the wealth of our nation is controlled by those 5% who are either business owners or investors. So what do? Well, the millennials have discovered the gig economy, and it's really growing. There was an article just yesterday in the Wall Street Journal, I think it was, or Bloomberg, about how the gig economy is getting extra attention now because there's so much disruption in our economy and changes happening. And Ubers, they say we're Uberizing the world. People are creating their own incomes after hours. These are people on demand availability for temporary or part-time assignments. And Uber has grown by a factor of 1,000 just from 2012 to 2017, and it continues to grow. And likewise, Amazon, we still have no idea the impact of the internet over time on our economy and the way we earn our living. People not only buy on Amazon, but they sell, they put up their own businesses. And the millennials are adopting this, and it's very cost efficient. You can work from anywhere. You can develop your own work-life balance, and it increases mobility. You can live anywhere with the gig economy. So how do you get into that? Well, we believe the Nikken is the perfect gig, and it's been around for 40 years. So the system's been well developed. It's a turnkey entrepreneurial system. We have a leadership development plan that so everybody helps everybody, and there's many, it's infinite number of people because you're who can be leaders because you are at the head of your organization. Very low cost of entry. It's not millions. It's $100, under $100 to join the Nikken family, and then just get your products and show them and start sharing. And so it's easy to integrate into your life. Once you know how great these products are, you want to tell your friends, your family, your colleagues, your associates all about it. And then Nikken sends you a commission for anyone who purchases. So it's an amazing collaborative entrepreneurship opportunity that instantly moves you from self-employed or gives you a gig engagement so that you can earn extra income if you are employed and build financial freedom. So what do we do as Nikken entrepreneurs? Well, we leverage and compound our efforts, and it is the ultimate gig economy because we really have the backup of a huge corporation, but what we do is share and invite people to be our customers or partners in Nikken, customers and partners, I should say. So this is what we do in Nikken. We join, and then we share and promote the wonderful products. We invite people to enjoy the parts of Nikken that suit them best, products or business or both. And then Nikken ships the products and does all the tough stuff like the inventory, their research and development, the warehousing, the operations. They spend millions of dollars every year studying cutting-edge wellness technologies to create the right environment for us to be healthy and to stay healthy, get healthy. And then Nikken gives us commissions, incentives, trips, recognition, all those things that we want when we're working hard, but don't always get in a corporate environment. So it's what we call the Wellness Home is a cash flow engine. We get the products we want. We invest in the consumables that come monthly if we choose. We can upgrade and get our total wellness home. Then we invite others. When I started my wellness home, I was sleeping so well, and I thought, well, but the only thing that's going to keep me awake is my children aren't on these sleep systems. So I made another investment to make sure that my kids were on these and got the nutritionals and so on, which you'll hear more about in a moment. And then Nikken is always introducing new products, and we're enjoying a new addition this year to our amazing product line, which you'll hear more about in a moment. So it's a purpose-driven model, and the next couple of slides are about how to build a business. This is the core circle of influence. It's like a little flower, but you have you in the center with the Wellness Home, or me, and around that are the other 5 top customers who are building their wellness home. And then below are 3 people you've found who want to do the business. So then they create their own core circle of influence with their customers and their partners and help their 3 leaders do the same thing. So it compounds quickly if you're sharing Nikken, and we call it teaching 3 to reach 3. And so it's very purpose-driven, and we all help each other. So whoever introduced you to Nikken will help you introduce Nikken to your people. Those are your customers or potential consultants, the C's, and your sponsor is your A, and you're the new person, the B, who will coach the new C if they choose to engage with Nikken. So it's a very effective system. Like if you recommend a movie to someone, it helps if someone else says, oh yeah, that's a great movie. It just really makes a difference. And the support system is second to none. We all work together. We have 7 billion people that need wellness homes. So we all help each other, even if we're not exactly in each other's organizations. We all help because we're on a mission together to make it a healthier, wealthier world. And I love this picture. This gets us back to nature where it all starts. And if you're the apple seed, if you're planted and nurtured, you can be responsible for the wellness of hundreds of thousands of people. And there are many people in Nikken who have actually touched the lives of hundreds of thousands of people. So it's truly amazing. And I actually recognized the power of Nikken's products right away because I had studied nutrition while I was in law school and added it to my family counseling practice when I left law. And I found it made such a difference for people to actually just eat right, sleep right, and get outside and those kinds of things. So I was so excited about it right away. And I'd also lived in a house that had no concrete basement and was minimal electricity. And everyone who came into the house said they relaxed more easily, they didn't get as tired. So when I heard about Nikken, that they had created this line of products so you didn't have to go live in an old broken down farmhouse to get good natural energy, I was very excited. Now this is a diagram of what I call the cone of possibility, with you at the top of the cone and your 3 people who are partnering with you. They each have their 5 customers, which makes 45 customers in your organization. And And when that happens, you are earning at least $500 a month as a silver leadership level consultant. And that keeps growing as your group keeps growing. And we have many Royal Diamonds who have earned 10 to 40 to 50, even some 100,000 a month. That's a month. That's not a mistake. So it has global impact. We affect people, planet, and profit. And these are all the ways that we earn money from Nikken. And it's a very translucent, sensible compensation plan. You can't beat the system because the system's built for you. It's absolutely elegant and beautiful. So now we're going to switch to the active wellness, and I'm going to invite my co-host, Hattiejane, who I failed to introduce at the beginning. Hattiejane, would you like to take it from here for active wellness? And you have to unmute yourself.
Thank you, Randy. I'm delighted. I'm going to go through fairly rapidly, so if you'll just bounce with me on the slides, I appreciate it. So we have here about health facts, and this is, we're talking about why and what affects us as humans 24/7, 12 months of the year. And it's the stress of everyday living, plus if any of the additional stresses if we wind up with health issues. On top of it, our family issues, and Lord knows that just comes along. Then sleep. If you don't get a good night quality sleep, your immune system grows, which then affects your health. The air that we breathe, indoors and outdoors, but especially indoors, so we have recycled air in our homes, picking up extra gases that are being offloaded, and environmental things. We just affect our respiratory, and if we don't breathe, we don't live. And water, if we don't drink water, our cells do not hydrate, and our body lives in a water environment. And we see people buying packs and packs of bottled water, which is an adjunct to different problems with having water on the go, or having water that you're tapped because you're possibly your piping or your influxes, or you don't trust, you don't like the taste. You want to have water available. But we have found that the bottled water has its own problems of how it's stored, delivered, things, and the quality it went in to start with, and it has its contaminants and many things in its own. So Nikken's product line addresses these issues, because the trend is showing, as we're starting out with our children, which is our future, is showing so many complications that are different than what we've had in previous years, and our lives are very different in it being exposed, having these wonderful things on computers and our things, but so what's an answer? And if, as you're going through this thing, as it's being recorded, if there's a slide that blocks your interest, you want to say, just stop it and read it. Good information there. But be healthy by choice, not by chance. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means choose an active wellness. Take responsibility for your health. Look about the things that you're sleeping, breathing, eating, doing. And that's where Nikken's product line and its wellness home is so revolutionary, because it's taken the technology of years of science and development and studying what is it to be healthy, not what it is to treat a sickness, but what it is to be healthy. And it's brought out products that were developed in the science time, dealing with ancient wisdom of moving our personal individual energy, which makes us all unique. And yet we all can benefit by sleeping, drinking, breathing, having the proper nutritionals to supplement if we need to, or as we need to. And with the food systems that we've had in our day's world, we do have needs. The wellness home then we've developed a pack, and so you can buy it as inexpensively as possible to get you a major commence starting using the technology that Nikken's brought to the public. And it starts with a natural sleep pack. The flat pad there is actually one you put on top of your magnet. And it's, as they came out with it years ago, like a futon, but it's basically, we put it on our existing mattresses. And then there's a comforter there that also has the magnets in it. So when you're sleeping under it and on it, you're enveloped in an envelope of magnetic field that's very responsible to the human body. And it's actually your personal response to it. How your body is reacting is what helps you sleep so much deeper. The pillow has a way of being able to be adjustable. So that makes up your basic sleep moment. And then the next pack comes up. It has the things that you use. Well, then the pack that deals with you having the adequate hydration that really your cells enjoy, because one is super pure, but it's alkaline, and then it's been microstructured in water. And you take it right out of your tap. Your old city applied it, so you don't have to worry about your piping having problems coming to your home, or if it's an older home having that, or what the filtration of the system isn't as good for your health as and it tastes good. And then we have a portable unit, so when you go out and you're out a long time, you have something you can fill up and also drink. And then we have a shower unit, so you don't have to experience the chlorine gas around you, as you have a nice warm shower. And the water, it makes your skin feel so soft. It is really good. And again, it's not as pure as our filtration unit for drinking and cooking water, but it is also filtered and goes through microstructure. And then we have a pack which deals with a variety of issues. The shoe steps you see there were the original application of the field in its most recent generation. And the Japanese took the ancient wisdom of how the body has energy that is movable and how it is health affected and affects health, and that introduced it. That alone was the fastest growing company in Japan within the period of time when they were just the first 10 years. And it still holds that record because these things originated out of a gentleman in Japan, and the awareness and structure they had there. But you'll see a variety of items. The white dot with the black dots is actually a pad that has those, or dots, are magnets. And thousands of people have found them so effective on back issues, which medical world had worked for ages and been trying to find myriad of problems. And for many people, that was an answer that got them out of major discomfort. And I have used it on my chest to facilitate my respiratory exchange. So there's so many things going on in this just little package here, because it addresses so many things. So be sure when you think of ordering, check in with your distributor, or if you just sign in, get one address, ask them, because we have so many stories and so much understanding of how these products, because after over 40 years, we have learned a lot about our body's response. Now, the consumables have to do with the J Green this is just a small source of them. The Vital Balance is a full meal replacement, which is based on a very anti-inflammatory source of pea protein. So it's high in protein and has many, many different elements that makes it a full response. The J Green is an antioxidant that was developed by Dr. Haiwa in Japan to help heal his body from post-infection, destruction after he had been working with some caustic materials. And the Super Siaga is the highest ORC rating, which means that has a whole lot of antioxidants in it, which someone said that it's an anti-rust treatment for our bodies. So I'm going to call there. We have a slide showing a few more, but I'd like for you to really discover and take a look at what we have to offer and ask, why is that important to you? And check us out. And if you really like it and you want to consider sharing with people, or you want to be a part-time entrepreneur and add a little bit of spice to your life in a marvelous time, or become a full-time entrepreneur and help and work with us to move this company into the stratosphere, because it's the best public health small offering that I have seen as a registered nurse ever. So let's begin with your new success story of active wellness and living a life in balance, because it's where you can do it, how you can do it, as you can do it. There's no pressure on you to do it, just your own.
Thank you, Hattiejane. And I want to say that Hattiejane's a very experienced nurse, and she has been using Nikken a long time, like a lot of us here. And we have attracted many, many nurses and healthcare professionals who really like the idea of supporting people naturally and allowing them to do their self-care. Even if they're under medical treatment, we can do so much to help our bodies respond to problems. So, Hattiejane, I do want to bring on our special guest, but you did a great presentation. And in 1 minute, can you just share what Nikken's done for you?
Well, when I was introduced to Nikken, fortunately, I had been studying and was completing my work in becoming a massage therapist, because my skills within the nursing profession, I thoroughly enjoyed it. But the next thing as far as advancement would be administration. And my skill set is not in administration or organization. So I went to massage therapy school to use what was so innate to me, and people had enjoyed over the years. And so therefore, when Nikken, as an energy field product, was introduced, my mind was opened. And I had been experiencing the power of the energy field. But I knew I would need a plan B and maybe plan C, because my body was older. I was having my own health problems. And down the line, I was going to need some more ways. And this was going to be so much fun, because I could do exactly what I love to do, which is help people learn about new about themselves, and help them make their choice, help them to make their choices as they choose, in a health promoting way, and get paid for it. So, and it goes forth to go on. It's not just that time. It's just not that counseling. A lot of the things we learn from ourselves about using the products are a surprise, because we didn't think that was happening. Oh, guess what's happening? Oh, okay. So we can make changes. We can adjust, or we can improve. And that wasn't apparent to us, because we didn't understand a lot of the finesse that our bodies have. I talk too much, and I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Thank you so much. And now I want to introduce our special guest, Bill Cottle from Idaho. And Bill, you're unmuted. So please tell us what you were doing when you discovered Nikken, and what got you excited, and what it's meant to you.
Well, thank you, Randy, and Hattiejane, thank you. I've taken a page full of notes here. This has been fascinating. I appreciate being invited to participate this morning. When I was introduced to Nikken, I was a busy business professional working at the Boise State University. That's the football stadium that has the blue turf. That is the easiest way to have people connect with us. And this was in 1999. And I was in the final stages of completing my doctoral dissertation, going to bed at 11:30 at night and getting up at 4 in the morning. And I don't know about you, but if you do the math, 4.5 hours of sleep is not adequate for a busy business professional who also has a significant church and community responsibility. I went to church one day and a dear friend said, "Bill, what's wrong with you? You look like death warmed over." I thought, what kind of a friend are you? Well, sure enough, 4.5 hours of sleep had caught up with me. And she insisted on sharing with me something called a magnetic massage, which led to loaning me this amazing Nature Rest sleep pack that we just saw explained to us by Hattiejane. And then that led me into being allowed to borrow that sleep system for 7 days, which coincidentally made a huge, huge impact in the quality of my life. I have referred to it as an overnight miracle. The first night that I slept on the system, I actually thought I'd overslept, and I'd only slept for 5 hours. And I woke up and I had not been up 3 times during the night to relieve myself. And so I'm going, oh my goodness, there must be something here, but it's a fluke. And so when she took the sleep system away 7 days later, and I went back to my old habits, doesn't take rocket science for a PhD candidate to figure out that there might have been a correlation. So what happened was, to the rest of the story is, I couldn't live without it. I knew I needed to get my degree completed. I purchased the sleep pack and had no time, no desire whatsoever to do the business, and merrily went down the road getting my PhD. But unfortunately, I had the bad habit of sharing with people what was going on in my life. And because I shared with other people, she wound up loaning things and taking care of people that I referred to her, and one day showed up and said, "Bill, congratulations, you have a new senior consultant, which is now the executive underneath you." And I didn't even know what she was talking about. So I was grateful for somebody who cared enough to share with me. And I guess for the last 19 years, I've been doing likewise. So that's my quick story, although it was a little longer than 90 seconds.
Oh,
Anyway.
that's great. Yeah, I want to hear more about what the products have done for you and what the business means.
Well, you talk about a life in balance in the slideshow, and I think that's probably the best way to summarize it. I mean, I'm so grateful and will be eternally grateful for being introduced to Nikken, because you never know what's going on in your body. You never know what life is going to throw at you. And then a little over 10 years ago, my wife, who I love dearly, we've been married almost 49 years this year, she fell down 2 flights of stairs in our home and broke her back. And when we got to the hospital and they diagnosed immediately what was going on, they eventually started calling her the miracle lady, because what had happened is that the good Lord had intervened, and when she broke her back, it was because she had a type of cancer that consumes the bone. And so they put her back together, and when we exited the experience at the hospital, and the oncologist said, you know, "Mrs. Cottle, you need to realize you have a 50-50 chance that this cancer will return in the next 10 years. Well, we celebrated 10 years this last August. And I believe, without making medical claims, it's just a coincidence that the fact that for the 9 years prior to her accident, when I asked the neurosurgeon, how long has this been in her system? He said years. I said, could it have been 9 years? He said, easily. It's very slow growing. He said, I told him, I said, well, she's been sleeping in a healthy environment. He said, just keep doing it. And so she had been with me in that sleep technology for those nine years, and now 10 more years. And we're happy to be 71 years young and still vibrant and lots of vitality. So obviously having a life in balance is extremely important. All of our grandkids and kids have been introduced to the sleep systems, and I think that that's going to be the continuation for generations to come. The other thing about the gig economy that you talked about is that, as I mentioned a moment ago, I didn't have any time or desire to build the business. But then as I got to doing that, I was able to do it in the nooks and cranny of my busy business life. And by just sharing with people a little bit every day, you eventually get to the point where you have a team, and that team's now throughout the North America, and actually some in Europe. We spent 18 months in Central Europe and shared a little bit while we were over there.
How wonderful is that? Yes, and as a business, even if you have a small business, There's tax advantages to having a business at home. I've heard accountants recommending that professionals or people working for a corporation have a home-based business just for the tax advantages. And then when you travel to Europe, you get to deduct it, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, and that's what I tell my team. Every time you buy a new product, when the Kinko Ground came out, I mean, I bought 5 of them. I don't think the IRS would let me declare all 5 of them as business expense, but for sure the first one was, and will be written off. And over the years, that's what I tend to do.
Cool. Well, that's our newest product. Do you want to tell a little bit about that? We only have maybe 2 more minutes. But.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm as excited about the Kinko Ground as I am about the Nature S Sleep Pack, because when you take those 2 products and you put them together, the term I'm using is you amp up the effectiveness or the synergistic results of the sleep system when you ground for 7 to 8 hours or however long you sleep at night. This morning I woke up at 3:48 because I was excited to be on your call. My mind was racing, and that's typical when you get a deep regenerative sleep. You don't really need as much as the books would tell you, but I do recommend and tell people 7 to 8 hours of sleep at our age is the goal.
Yes, for sure. And I love the way you described it, putting the magnetic energy that Nikken has been a leader in for over 40 years with the grounding. These are just 2 of the wonderful things the earth gives us. It gives us organic food. It gives us healthy air and healthy water. And humans have just managed to manipulate things so that we have...
Never leave home without it.
We just have too many toxins and daily stress, and we're hurried lifestyles, and Nikken makes it easy to do better by ourselves. And you never know how good you can feel till you're living in a wellness home. It's truly amazing. So Bill, before we close, do you have a last recommendations for someone who's just starting to explore Nikken?
Sure. If you're brand new to Nikken, what I'd highly recommend you do is talk with your person that sponsored you and make sure that you follow in their footsteps, because they've already been down the path that you have yet to travel. I oftentimes will tell people that your best asset right now as a brand new Nikken consultant is that you don't know anything, and you should pretend that you don't and use the ABC approach to have somebody that is a little more knowledgeable. I mean, just introduce them to the A and let them do the rest. That's how my business got started. I had a Royal Diamond in the area that came and did presentations for me, and it's a great role model to follow.
Perfect. Well, thank you. And thank you, Hattiejane Daracourt, for co-hosting, and for Bill sharing your story, and for all of you attending. And this will be recorded, and I'll send it to anybody whose email I have. And thank you so much. Check out Nikken. Get back with the consultant who introduced you and explore it. There's nothing else like Nikken on the planet, and we have a huge mission to make it a better, healthier world.
Randy, I have a couple questions. I run into
Okay, let me end the recording, okay?
Right.